Hello, 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 hola la, is anybody here? I have spent the last 45 minutes trying to troubleshoot my microphone and video because it's Mercury retrograde. So, welcome to everybody. I'm going to grab a glass of water, get some music, and I'll see you in a few minutes. See you. Oh, no, I'm picking up the wrong program. How about some music instead? Voila. Is this better, Carly? Sorry. I sound muffled. Oof. Do I still sound muffled? There you go. I was doing all of these improvements to help. I'm just going to go and remove them all because that doesn't help. And where is it? Video? I'm doing settings. Let me just check. Audio. Okay, is this better? Can you hear me better now? Is this better? I'm just trying to set everything up here, configure video. This is only getting video but not audio. Let me try to get my microphone. Yeah, I can see something is wrong with the microphone. Let me try this. Properties. No, it should be a proper microphone, but I can see it's going through the roof. How is it now? Still going through the roof. This should be better. Let's see. Filters. What is filters? Oh, that's why it is. Let's remove this. No. Filters. How do I remove it? Okay. I guess just a plain delete. And there you go. I thought I'm going to help getting clarity, and instead you're not hearing me. So now I have removed everything that I have added, and let's see. Let's go back to the screen. with you to see how you did. Hello, Crystal. I'm putting you as a mod here. I haven't heard from you. Thanks for Barbie. Thank you so much for reminding her. You did win your 10 minutes last time, but so okay. So how? Okay, better now. But from Barbie, everybody else, guys, can you hear me? Okay. I hope everything is okay. I had it was just like showing me that my webcam, which is the top of the line, can just do tiny little kind of like thingy, and it was just like middle of the screen. Let me remove the cover image. And let's see how that's going to go. Of course, it's Mercury retrograde. You know, the worst part is when you deal with Mercury retrograde, whatever you set and fix, you have to do it in 3 weeks again. So that really, really doesn't help. So hopefully everybody else is handling this Mercury retrograde. Do not forget that being in retrograde, like it. Being in retrograde is very helpful for anything that has been in a process. You have applied for a job in the past and now they are calling you. This is kind of like yes, which usually means they had somebody, you see, who didn't work out. And now they're calling you, kind of like realizing. So don't make it easy. Don't just jump in. Just say, I need to think about it. Negotiate higher pay, blah, 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 right? So, Crystal, my email is Mystic Cat Tarot. Mystic. And I'm typing it now. So guys, when send me your birth date, your birth time, the place of birth. And the reason why I need to know it is to be personalized. That's a personalized reading. What I'm doing here is not personalized because we are globally taking a sign. Of course, it's personalized when I draw a card for you, but that could be better if I knew your birth date because I kind of like sink in and connect. And those of you who had the reading with me know how this really works, right? So, and this is my condition. If I'm doing a personal reading for you, I'm going to ask this. This is not to mean that you can ask me for my information. And I just want to make it very clear. So let's kind of like jump in so we can have more fun. And the quiz is going to be the next time. I just have to figure out when we have long weekend, if we have it in May here in Canada. Do you have it in the US? Let me just see long weekends, Canada. And I know like usually we have once a month. I know this is Victoria Day, I believe, somewhere in and usually Victoria Days can be anything, can be in the middle of the week, just like Canada Day. Victoria Day is May 22nd. So let me just have this. So that's going to be Monday. So yeah, it's going to be a long weekend. So we have 29th, we have 6th, and we have 13. So what I'm going to do, because I usually have a break, we are going to meet on the 6th, and then I'm going to decide is it going to be the 13th or 20th. Probably is going to be 20th anyway, long weekend, possibly, unless I plan to go somewhere. But on the 6th, we are going to have another quiz. And not to stress you out, it's not going to be like the last time. I'm learning as we go. Oh, you have a May 29th there. Okay, so definitely I have to do it around 20th over there. Long week in Australia, you have a next weekend. We cannot like they make it globally, that we globally kind of like feel like, wouldn't that be fun if we have holidays that I guess we will have a holiday every day because different countries do different things. What is it? Nobody's showing up today. What's going on? Anyway, let me just jump in. Where is my little pouch? So we are dealing with Taurus. Happy birthday, Taurus. And Taurus is going to have a really good time in May, right? Hello, Andy. So now with all of these celestial movements that are happening, I don't know, guys, if you haven't noticed. I have, because now for the next, 24 years, is it 24 years? well, more or less, it's going to be 2 months this year, and then Pluto goes back and then comes back in 2024, which means a rebellious Aquarius is going to be rebellious on steroids. So how is it to kind of like have a dual role, Aquarius and Scorpio? So we all, in fact, are going to have that influence of Scorpio kind of like prevailing in our lives, which means something is going to be really important to us, and that's what is important for us. We are going to stand up and be counted. So it's weird. I don't know whose YouTube channel I watched. I actually really like that guy. He's an astrologist, and he's a Scorpio. And he was so fondly talking about Aquarius. Oh, you guys, you're going to see how it is to be a Scorpio. Really? I would like to see that you guys see it. Okay. Thank you, Crystal. Good to see you. Hello, Sally. Good to see you. So, Taurus, this is affecting you too. You're a fixed sign, and we have all these eclipses happening. Eclipses are this time around really affecting fixed signs. Why? Because fixed signs, we kind of like decide on a system, and then we keep the system, and we are keeping the status quo, and it's really, really hard to move us, which is really important to kind of hold the whole freaking thing together. It's like building a house. When you put the walls, in order to move a wall, you have to have a whole bunch of things in place so the entire house would not collapse. So it's basically good that we fixed signs are not moving, but it doesn't make us feel very flexible. Just like my quiz that I was telling you about, and like next time is going to be a little bit more fun. I'm learning as we go. I wish I can make it interactive, but because of the delay, and what is this? Like now you cannot even see me? Oh man, I'm just seeing the circling. What's going on? Oh, I know what's going on. It's Mercury retrograde. Of course, that is what is going on. Let me try to refresh my screen here and see what happens. Because you're just hearing me, and I'm seeing on my public screen only. I'm seeing only like the graphic, but nothing else yet. Is it? Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. So Taurus. Let's see what we have here for you. Since you're a fixed sign, you are going to, let me just put a stamp here. And I don't have these little fuzzy animals ever since I upgraded my computer. I have to find them, but that would do. I'm thinking about possibly switching to a different streaming software, but that would mean if I do, that I have to pay for it. I'm not crazy paying for it if I have it twice a month, but that would allow me to be on 2 platforms. Anyway, I gotta think about it. The live cut out. Yes, I did cut out live because I refreshed my screen, but it should come back. So Taurus, you're having the 8 of Swords reversed. Something else is coming out here. Oh my gosh, you have also the Ace of Swords reversed. Yeah, it's not going to be easy transition from all fixed signs. The hardest, you have all the swords. Do you have an air sign in your life, my dear Taurus? Because I don't know why the first thing giving this Queen of Swords coming here, something is happening here. So 8 of Swords reversed, it's kind of better than 8 of Swords in a regular way, right? And I'm sorry that I'm not zooming in more, like something is wrong with my camera. I probably will run a tutorial on OBS streaming software and just try to see if I can figure out to be better for the next time. So why is this better? Like in this position, we are like terrified. We cannot move. We don't trust anyone. We feel that no matter what you do is wrong. You know, like when people ask you the question, when did you stop beating your wife? It's just like it's no win situation in that kind of like in that condition. So, but this comes reversed at this stage, right? So the tree crown is now on the bottom. It's in the roots. So it's much easier to gain a perspective because there is no gravitational force that always makes us a little bit, triggered. I don't know if you ever been in one of those tall buildings where you see the transparent floor. There was like one like that in Toronto on CN Tower, Canadian National Tower. and there were like sharks swimming underneath. It was, like your brain is not catching up with your logic. So it's kind of like a part to know it. So same thing here, like you're stabilizing, you're knowing something. So there's like something karmic happening, something really, really happening. But you are, my dear Taurus, not going to react very well this month. Do we have any Tauruses here or anybody like with ascendant Taurus? There's like something really happening. Plus this is 8 and 1 is 9. There's like some kind of like finality coming or happening over here, right? So this is also one of my karma cards, and I designated this as a karma card because this is the gateway from major arcana to minor arcana. So you kind of like do all of this lesson, you do all of the teaching, you go through the university, kind of like if you wish, of life, and you learn everything that has to happen, the path, and off you go, and it starts you here, it's like whoosh, like the door opens, you're kind of like thrown out in your kind of like life, and it's really, really fast. It has, all the swords have like these two edges, which means it's not only external, but it's also internal, and this is why air signs kind of like usually like they have the dual role. They have to do it in two ways. But there is a person who is some form of a catalyst, and you're not appreciating this person whatsoever. It is weird because you feel entrapped. You feel the justice hasn't been served. You don't feel victorious. You feel compressed. You feel suppressed. And you're blaming that on one person over here. So I don't know, like, where is my gypsy deck? Let me just grab my gypsy cards here to see a little bit more in all of this. Look at this. I'm getting a death. I'm getting like really eerie feeling here. The reason for that is like my stepdad is Taurus, and yes, of course, with his dementia, this kind of like makes sense. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking like, yeah, oh my gosh, it sounds like him. He always feels now prosecuted. He feels that people are chasing him. And this is me, the Queen of Swords, that he doesn't appreciate no matter what I do. It's not good unless I throw money at him. And then it's just like, it's so weird. Like, you know, Taurus is always like money. But when they get into that frontal temporal dementia, there's nothing but money. That's only one God happening. And I was seeing death. He's going to be 80 years old in 2 days. So this card here that depicts that flying man, a demon, if you wish, right? And, you know, he's looking almost like in a menacing way to the world down below him. So it's talking about something coming to an end, right? But this is not really a card to fear. It's clearly like the ending could be of marriage, of relationship, some connection. But it also can mean a revival after some kind of like emotional period. But like, I don't see many emotions here because they're all swords. They're all kind of like cold and collected, kind of like coming through, right? So, but it could talk about something sudden because of swords, and like could be painful events that maybe kind of like lead to kind of like violence or maybe trauma. But there's also some kind of like weakness, right? It's really, really strange because this would kind of like, yeah, it would be death in tarot, but also would be 5 of Cups if you really think about it, right? This card generally acts up somewhere toward mid to end July, and from the middle, like that third week in July, that's where the death card really kicks in. But there's like something that is really happening. So I'm so freaking freaked out right now over this because, you know, I always kind of like look at this. So Taurus says, check your health. That's what I would say. And I would say all of these feelings that you have, you need to discuss them with someone. True or false, you need to talk about it, because if you're internalizing kind of like issues like that, that could be detrimental to you in the future. Good for you, Andy. You dated a Taurus. It was kind of wild. Well, I kind of like Taurus is their dating energy, but ultimately we are very different people. I kind of like really respond to fixed signs, but I don't like dating Leos. It just that energy of worship is just not me. And I don't even like when my girlfriends always worship their boyfriends and, oh, he's so successful and here, as if, you're taking him for that, not for that connection. So, but that means being Aquarius. Alrighty, let's go next. And let's go next. Talking about the devil. Here we go. Leo. Let's go with Leos and Leoness next. Timestamp. 92. Hurry up. Oh, your mom is a Leo. My dad was a Leo. And you know what really sucks? That my moon is in Leo. And my moon was full moon. That's usually what happens when you have the sign and moon sign the opposite. Which means that I'm kind of like wearing my emotions on a sleeve. It's kind of hard to do it. It also was about the horizon, one of those things as well. This one wanted to come out, Leo. You have Knight of Cups. Ooh. What else? Then you have like Two of Pentacles. All right. You have Knight of Cups. You have Two of Pentacles. My screen is again spinning. It's again, I don't know if you're even able to see that. On my end, it's just not happening for some reason. But I'll continue unless you tell me, in which case I will need to refresh it all over again. So Leo, you have Knight of Cups. You have Two of Pentacles reversed. Three of Cups. Page of Wands. Yeah, that's a knave. And you have Nine of Swords reversed. Oh boy. I just don't know if these first two readings are giving a flavor kind of a thing, right? So this card and this card talks about doing something hastily, doing something like you have like such a really good foundations over here. You're in a good place emotionally. That's what the Knight of Cups is. You can date, you can have a really productive and very nice kind of like a dating life or connection with people. But there is a lots of quote unquote juggling, whether or not that means you have two partners or somebody who you like has two partners. That's kind of like that play coming here, right? So we have that energy of 2 and 3. So it could be a third party relationship here as well when this combination comes again. Not enough information. So that's why I say when you get the reading, get at least an hour or so. Then I turn every stone kind of a thing. Even I call it fly on the wall. But this is interesting energy. That's the erratic energy. That's the haste, right? Because Knave of Wands is really fast. It's kind of like flash. So now it's blindfolded energy going everywhere, bouncing everywhere, right? And this is really acting up. So there's like something that you're going to see or find out or able to address, which is going to start messing with your head. And this is really applicable. So look at this emotional, a grounding component. That's you, fire, but it's ungrounded. It's like unbridled kind of a thing. And then it is like thinking through. It's almost like, when we do stuff and we jump the gun because it is a knee-jerk reaction, emotional reaction, and then we wish we didn't say it. Like people say things, you kind of like they say, well, these are just words don't hurt. But I don't know, that was not my experience in life. How was yours? If somebody says something, maybe I'm Aquarius, we are swords, we are processing words. I can't. I will really have to reanalyze and analyze, and sometimes I just cannot come back with this. And we have cheerfulness, and that's the same thing here. Except if you really look at this card, you see a man cheering and there are two women cheering. One is like a white, like an innocence, right? And one is red, like a passion. And interestingly, the one in red is on the head of the table. So it's almost like she's younger and she's giving some sort of preference, if you wish, right? It's weird cards, right? You have like chandelier, like they really had to make sure the chandelier is right over his head. So there is a spotlight on him. Like I don't know, I can see it, like would be really weird choice. And there is like a mirror that almost looks like, there is like a need for some kind of like self-reflection if you think about it. So this cheerfulness, in spite of the name, it still has that kind of like tinge of, what is this all here? So that's maybe some social event, which I have seen here. It could be men into women situation here that I'm really talking about. It could be a baby shower or something like that. But this is clearly an invitation or telling you that you need to go out and enjoy yourself, right? It's also really good mood, and like you are going to be generally in a good mood until when we hit Gemini, because that can also correlate with May 22nd and a little bit further, maybe the last 9 days, right, in a month, right? So the card is generally positive, and you have almost like the same thing here, the celebration, which also, again, I'm being over analytical. I'm seeing cats joying and dancing, and they're grasping for the grapes, which are toxic, right, to them, right? So, but there are clearly some possibilities of new beginnings and new happiness, and that may explain why you're like behaving maybe a little bit like a child. You're making kind of like faux pas, that kind of stuff. But clearly, it could be some kind of like peace in the family. Possibly, this could also mean promotions, which kind of can give headaches because this card is a headache. I would say you're going to actually have really good health. And there's going to be lots of laughter over here. And this is like something that is happening here that is going to also either the person or the matter you're addressing is going to play around your birthday, especially if you are Leo, born in the middle of the Leo transition. So just keep this in mind, my dear Leo. Sorry guys, I'm still seeing the same screen and I'm not seeing anybody typing anything. So I'm assuming that this is stuck again on my end. So I'll have to refresh it over here and see what happens. Again, let's do that. And you guys can guess which one is the next sign if you're hearing me. Isn't this lovely having this... Okay, you hear me. I'm seeing these cards now. I'm seeing this is okay, and it's not spinning. It says excellent connection. So you guys, which one is the next sign? I don't even know if this is... Oh, okay, you hear me. At least you hear me. It's weird. It was just, and like the whole morning, like it's just like, you know what, when you spend time on learning something, it's great, but when you spend time on learning something that wasting time on trying to set your screen, that's not that great. Okay, and I'm looking for my pen and like, where is it? It's behind my ear. So we have the guesses, Sagittarius and Cancer. Well, it's still running because we did have Taurus. Let me grab another one. And we have Gemini, and let me put your stamp, my dear Gemini. Let's see. Apparently, this is the most hated sign of all. I was just putting on my little group where we have that chit chats. I was just putting that, and it's just so weird because I had the most. In my first 2 or 3 years of working this, I had the most complaints against Gemini women and Sagittarius males. It's bizarre. It's bizarre because they are not like your usual suspects. So Gemini, you have... Ooh, these are interesting cards. Look at it. You have the High Priestess and you have the Moon. Very similar. There's like this Moon connection over here. So what are we talking about here? Moon in May is going to be Scorpio Moon. Scorpio full moon, n'est-ce pas? Yes, it's going to be Scorpio full moon. And Scorpio is like kind of like that very kind of like deep, contemplative kind of like thing. Gemini can be cold and aloof. You know, that's the problem with Gemini, I think, because just like with Libra, at least with Aquarians, you get what you see or see what you get, right? You're kind of like not very, let's say, sophisticated. where I would say both Libra and Gemini are more sophisticated. They would be telling you, because they're not fixed, right? So they always take this advantage of, oh no, I didn't mean it, I didn't say it. It's not the case with fixed signs. But so they kind of like are bubbly, and you think, oh, this is great, it's friendly, and you kind of like let your guard down. Just the next day, next moment, they're aloof, or they don't care about you. Oh yeah, we did have some interest. So that's kind of like weird, and you feel really disappointed. So we have the High Priestess, which is my homework for tomorrow. I have to do the explanation in French about, no, that will be the Magician, but I don't know, for some reason I was preparing the High Priestess. So she has the moon here, and there is a full moon here. Very interesting card. The full moon, like we are talking about, these last three cards, the star, the part of culmination, the crown of Tarot, as I call it. So we have the star. Like after this whole devastation, we are finally humble with Tower. Then we're going in the star, we are getting nourishment, right? Then we're going into the moon, so we are moving into this emotional fullness. And then we are going to the sun, so we are kind of like now physical able to go do it. And then there's like reincarnation happening after that with the judgment. And voila, next thing is the world. We are deciding at that stage, are we re-entering, and on which level we're re-entering, etc., right? So now having one of those final stages that also relates to the initial quote-unquote lessons that you have been given over here, with possibly you being the Queen of Wands, because she's also very busy and butterfly-like and very chatty, but it also can connect with lawyerly stuff. I have to tell you, Queen of Wands I always see as a mover and shaker and a lawyer. So there is like some kind of like wisdom, something that is not spoken to you, and I almost like for some reason feel that there is like some kind of barrier that you're experiencing over here. And I'm seeing again issues with my stream. You guys just type it in if you're seeing that little circle going on, which I'm not so sure. It tells me it's excellent, but then kind of like has these issues as well. So stream settings, do I have it? Enable auto start. I cannot do it. Enable auto stop. Enable DVR. I don't even know what is DVR. 360 video, closed captions. Maybe I should make them. Unless live replay when the stream ends. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. So what is really happening here, my dear Gemini, is that there is like possibility of a lesson that is coming back for you to deal with. Of course, during Mercury retrograde, you are ruled with Mercury, and this is why every Mercury retrograde could be a little bit harder for you and Virgos that they're both ruled with Mercury. So this is giving you ability to pull yourself together, to clean the slate. So which means whatever is the pile, and you guys are generally big procrastinators, whatever is the pile, start cleaning this pile. It's going to be very, very important. And then you have to go back into that emotional world. Very hard for Libras, trust me. Guys from an air sign telling you this, even though Libras and Geminis look way less prickly than Aquarians, who are tell you like straightforward what's going on. They're going to screw you much more than Aquarius will, because you're just going to feel that your rug was pulled under your feet all the time. So something is really happening. Somebody's calling Gemini here and saying, well, you know what? Like, I mean, didn't you have the wisdom in the situation? Because this is like filter between good and evil. And she said, you know what? I'll be marking this. Yeah, I see everything. I'll be marking this, right? And then you're coming here, and like, there are like paths. There is like ego, alter ego, and an id. So are you instinctually kind of driven like with that id, and you're just doing stuff because it's kind of like the animalistic thing? Are you kind of like all dedicated to the wrong thing, right? Are you false, as cats are usually represented? The pearl is gates, but the path goes somewhere else, which is we're sometimes even failing to see what is before us. The moon can also talk about jealousy. The moon can also talk about lack of fulfillment, because the full moon is a fulfillment. So Gemini, I would really buckle up. I think this full moon that we'll be going through might be a little bit of rough ride for you. Something wanting to come through. And look at it, you're getting another dogo. And this is kind of faithfulness. And usually the moon is about jealousy. So what is going on? Who is addressing faithfulness? Is it you who is being told or somebody else? It's positive. It's on the upside. So it can talk that you can count on the support of friends and family, kind of a thing. But possibly that you need to clear the air to some kind of disagreements as well. But I would also say that this is some kind of like like time to be accepting of the loyalty and faithfulness. Maybe you haven't been in the past, and that's maybe the lesson, because you're entering the last stage. So the last stage is like, drop your pens, we are going to pick up your tests. And that's what happens when you go to the star, moon, sun, judgment, and world stage. So, but it's kind of like positioned really well for you, so don't screw it up, kind of a thing, right? Yeah, like this live is also turning off as well. I don't even know if I should start a completely. Crystal, I did get your information. This is just bad. Let me see. Copy. Will end your streams. You will need to. No, I will not update anything right now. Hello, Jasper girl. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'll just go through all of it. I just will keep refreshing for now, because that's just crazy. And this is not me, guys. That's YouTube clearly messing up with everything. You cannot hear me? What? Can you hear me now? Let me just check my my thing here. Da-da-da. Microphone. Like I'll increase it a little bit to be louder. Hopefully that's going to help. I honestly don't know. My apologies to everybody. Okay. You see? I cannot hear you. I can hear you. This is Mercury retrograde messing up with us. Let's go next, guys. You know what? I can't. I'll just keep going forward, and we will just draw your cards in the end instead of guessing, because of the technical issues that we have. The next one is Scorpio. Let me put the Scorpio's thing here. So I'm just going to roll through it quicker, because you never know. This might not even work properly. So, Scorpio. Okay, so I did increase the microphone, so let's see. Scorpio. We have the Chariot. Ooh, so what else do we have? You have Queen of Swords and you have Knave of Pentacles. That is actually a pretty solid reading, which means you're motivated to move certain things forward. You kind of like want to go in a new direction. Of some sort, like these are two very, very fast. So almost like feels like you're a little bit forgiving to your enemies or to people who has wronged you. You generally are not the sign who is moving very quickly, but you are the sign who is very, who takes care of the fundamentals, right? And ultimately, you are going to appreciate loyalty. Is that a little freaking owl that I have never noticed? Yeah, it is. It is some kind of like baby owl here. It really talks about that wisdom. I made a t-shirt. Yesterday I started a project, and I said I'm going to put on Etsy some t-shirts. And the t-shirts were putting all the pets that I had, and kind of like really I put a tiger and put the other dog that I had as a child. And it just kind of made me so sad, kind of like seeing all my pets together, kind of a thing. But it started like being fun, and then you go serious. So for you, my dear Scorpio, you're moving ahead. You need to work this muscle, which is called the will. And you're like eager, you're willing, you are feeling that you can move forward. You're feeling that things are going to work out. You have ability not to overact. You have ability to really know like what will happen. It's Queen of Swords is like really interesting. Even though it's a sword, she's also very intuitive, and she's intuitive from a different reasons, because she has tried so many things. She has been burnt and abused so many times, so now maybe she has a little bit of PTSD, I would say. She's maybe kind of like sometimes too serious about situation, but she kind of like goes, oh, I know how this story ends, I'm not going there. So certain things you're slowing down maybe as a result. This could be your kids, or it could be a mother and a child as well. Maybe you're simply traveling somewhere. It could be something as simple as that. So let me see what additional card you have here. And you have a priest here reversed, right? So priests in this deck, it was somebody who had a big power, right, back then. Remember, the whole family had to go and kiss the ring, and that's where the saying comes from. It's about spirituality and morality, kind of a thing. But Queen of Swords is not a moral one. She doesn't preach morals. She preaches things that are just imbalanced, right? She's close to that concept of justice, kind of like if you really think about it, right? Okay, glad, Barbie, that you can hear me, right? But this came reversed. So when it comes reversed, like that card comes very kind of like straightforward, if you wish. And yes, you can talk about a loss of morality, but it's maybe Queen of Justice is saying, are you sure you want to do this, kind of a thing? Because that's some kind of like errors in judgment, which I think would more relate in a combination with this. But it could warn you, maybe your curiosity is taken somewhere and it's telling you be careful about this person. It could be the air sign with the child that you're dealing with, sort of a thing, right? It could also suggest somebody using occult knowledge, but for the controlling means, like voodoo, I would say. But this also can talk about, I guess, investments, because there are pentacles after all showing. Could be investment, maybe errors. So in any case, be careful about judgments. Poor judgments will be very much judged. And it's interestingly enough, because like if you had the High Priestess, I would say, you know what, like it's going to be a really tricky month. But you have the Chariot, and Chariot always moves forward. Chariot is a kind of like a solo person. Maybe you're deciding if you want to be with somebody or not. Maybe you're dating, maybe you're a man and dating a person who has a child or children. Maybe, you know, like, I mean, you're a woman and you're kind of like trying to see if you want to be really solo, because generally this dude is a solo kind of like person, right? This is also kind of like relating with something that has happened just maybe in March, I would say. It could be a little bit of emotional coldness of a sort. But it's also saying, you know what, do not fret, just keep going, things are going to work out, just slow and steady wins the race, kind of a thing, right? So I hope that kind of like works, right? So yes, and it's always sad to kind of like look back on past animals. I don't know if I find it here. If I find it here, let me just find it, I'll show you. The little t-shirt I did. Did I save this JPEG? So you know what, like, but I think I'm going to print one for me, because you know it's kind of like very important for me. I kept from all my past animals a little bit of fur, kind of like that's my thing. But this one was in particular kind of like interesting. Is this happening? Where is this? Oh, could it be that my computer is just bloody messed up? Right, so no, this one, is it this one? Yeah, I'm going to show you. I don't know, maybe I am very emotional Aquarius, especially when it comes to my freaking animals. But kind of like, where is it? Okay, let's save up. I think that will be much better in a white. What's going on here? Here we go. I'm just going to show you the picture. Oh, I have to save it to show you. Interesting. Okay, that's not me in the picture, just keep this in mind. This is just giving me how the concept would look like. I'll upload this to this software so you can actually see it. Dun, dun, dun. Image. Let's add another image. And where did I put it? Oh, voila. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but this is kind of like my ideas. And these are all my animals. These are like the Onyx and Jasper. And this is Tiger. This was Mickey, a dog that I had when I was very little. This is actually Safi. It should be kind of like cream. And this is Matrix. And this little kind of like shaded are the ones that are no longer with me. And here they are basically the list of their names. And you can see some of them quote unquote expired. And some of them are still well and alive. And I don't know. It's just, to me, it could be like a sleeping kind of like t-shirt, I guess, that can help connect with all this kind of like souls that I have connected over the ages. So I don't know, guys, if this is something like that makes you emotional. I'm just hearing some weird sounds. Oh, it's the cops or the fire or something like that, right? So sirens for sure. So who is next? Who is next? Catch me up. Just go Taurus and Leo. We had Gemini and Scorpio. Taurus was 1234. Leo was 2020. Scorpio, Gemini 2817, and Scorpio 3720. So there we go. Ooh, Aquarius. We are getting Aquarius next. Andy, good guess. It's very similar, Aquarius and Sagittarian energy, if you really think about it. So, stamp, and let's go. Let's go. Aquarius. And Aquarius came out with this. So we have 3 of cats, or 3 of cups reversed. We have a 5 of swords reversed, and we have 8 of cups. So it's really nothing big if you really think about it over here. There are all cards of sort of transition. Cups last a little bit longer, which clearly for clearing emotional things is much, we need longer and deeper process versus just saying, you know what, I'm not taking this and I'm not taking that, like the swords do, right? It's really interesting because the 5 of swords is like that Pyrrhic victory where you win something that is just basically ridiculed. You're being ridiculed for something that generally a small child would, I guess, be able to accomplish or can't accomplish, and you're finding yourself victorious in the situation. So this is where this kind of like becomes a little bit difficult, right? So the combination of the two makes me think that maybe we alienated friends, or we feel alienated, or something like that happened. Oh my gosh, the delay is huge. It's about 5 minutes. I'm just seeing on the screen those t-shirts being placed now, which was about 5 minutes ago. It's so freaking weird. And so basically here is like the 8 of cups. It's almost like I can predict my own future because what I see on the screen and actually know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes is freaking awesome. Imagine if I can tell you the other stuff that is really happening simultaneously. So that's pretty much probably a good thing for, theory of relativity. But there's like some kind of like decision to kind of like leave and look at it. We have 8 and 8 and 16, and 16 is a tower. So there is like a collapse of some beliefs or values or trust in some people that have been around us, or kind of processes that are really going on, right? There's like, I would say, decision to actually make in a different direction. Maybe we had toxic friends. Maybe the friends around us were just because they needed us, but when we needed them, they're not there. So it takes time kind of like to develop something new. And clearly Aquarians are not happy with the situation, even though the situation is fulfilling. Like, you see, that's one thing about Aquarians. We have friend sign, but we don't need friends. It's really bizarre. because for us, the friends don't have to be factual, meaning in the same room. Like they can be on a different side of the world. They can just be internet friends. And it's kind of like the concept that we had about friendship, like, I mean, even before the internet, pen pals kind of a thing is now almost normal. Even friendship is considered your follower that you have never met on Facebook. That's a little bit too much for me, but anyway, it is what it is, right? So let's see which one we get here. We get Sweetheart. And this would be probably us. And it's kind of like lovely. She's probably reading some kind of like note or something. And there is a rose bush on one side, but the second one doesn't seem to have roses, right? But clearly, I mean, there's like a handkerchief over here. She does seem to be happy, but it's really important. Like whenever I see this, I'm thinking about phone, especially iPhone, if you kind of like wish, because of that white kind of like color that has been so, prominent right here as well. But Sweetheart is just generally a very feminine principle. It's kind of like trusting yourself and trusting who you are and what you're bringing to the table, right? But she is reading that note and she's keeping it really close to herself. So it's kind of like indication that there's like something very personal, right, in nature. So this kind of like abundant red roses, and also that red, whatever this is, cape or blankie, right? It's talking about some emotion that she's going through it, right? So it's really interesting because this card here, and like, isn't this bizarre that like the love is celebrated on February 14, which is Aquarius transition, and then the Lovers card is Gemini, which also doesn't have that component. This card as well, this is kind of like that February kind of location of a sort right here. So this is talking about something upcoming. It's something that is going to be really exciting, right? It's time that we feel that we can trust our feelings and let go. Like it's almost like with the combination, it's telling me that there is a harmony that is happening, but we are at this stage saying, you know what, I owe it to myself. I need to do that. I need to say that, right? It's very kind of like important to go in that direction, right? So the little bit is like that this is a negative card that kind of like takes me a little bit off, which I would just warn, be careful not to be deceived, because the note and somebody who is so happy with taking things away from somebody else, right? Be careful. It could be a catfish kind of situation or anything like that. So keep it in mind, my dear Aquarius. So I think Capricorns are like that. We like our own company. Maybe that's we are both kind of like ruled with Saturn, but I'm extroverted. I'm not an introvert. Introverts hate other people. They just simply drain their energy, like go down. I'm extrovert. I actually should recharge with other people, but at some point it's like, ugh, I'm now exhausted. And I'm a high introvert on 70 or 80%. Not so much like all the celebrities or Big Brother, but clearly it will be really interesting to do that. Oh, pen pal brings back memories. Had one in Korea when I was younger. Oh, that's really nice, guys. All right, so let's see who's next. Who's next? Let's go through it. Like Aries. Do we have Aries here? Aries' energy is going to be very strong. Actually, Aries' I think the eclipses are in Aries. No, it's in Taurus right now, but Aries' eclipses, I don't know if you felt them. Like, I mean, it was a big freaking bang. If you didn't like certain structure, if you didn't like where you are, you started to feel and think in terms that you need to change it, and you're feeling I need to do it. And that's that Mars energy that moves us forward, right? So let's see that. Ambivert. That's a cute word. So we have here the Chariot. We have 3 of Wands. Look at that. Some kind of like, oh, that's a combination for the ages. Look at this. 8 and 3 is 11 and 7. So we cannot add them up because one is major and 2 of them are minors. Here, Let me actually grab this one so I can do this. And this one wanted to come out. Oh, we have cheerfulness. What freaking chances? Like we are getting this same thing coming through. So the chariot moves forward. The chariot is that force, and it's a lots of independence over here. It's really interesting because we have a 3 motive here. We have a 3 motive here. So my dear Aries, there is like something happening. Like 3 is a crowd is coming to me. Something is overwhelming. Talking about extroverts, you see how things you talk about can spill over in a reading, because it's almost like feels like it's meant that we talk about it, kind of a thing. So what is really happening here? The chariot is a major. It happens after Lovers, where the fool is looking at the Eve and goes, oh, gorgeous woman, I'm not leaving here. I'm staying here. I have everything. I have fruits. I have a beautiful woman. And something just moved behind me, which I don't know what. And I was moving from here, kind of a thing. And then the angel tells him, you're just on a stage 6. You still have to go up to 21. Why don't you come back? And she's going to be happier that you did it, blah, 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 blah. So he moves on, and that's where he moves on. He thinks that moving really, really quickly, moving very, very fast is going to get him really back really, really quickly. But, you know, it's kind of like really interesting, because if you look at the other languages that they have, il carro, der Wagen, this means the car, right? It's chariot is so much better sounding if you really think in French and in English. Le char, they say it's in French, but it would be le chariot. I would say what is really interesting, what most people fail, look at all the stars. He should also have the sun. Does he have the sun? I don't think he does, or maybe it's my eyes, but he should have the necklace that represents the sun. And this is really also very phallic card. And we have like the 2 peacocks. One is like albino, one is regular one. They are not arranged. So they can just start pulling and collapsing the whole thing. So the strong will is the key of this card. That he's holding the whole thing together. So there's like some kind of will, guys, you're putting into possibly a small business. This could mean business. This could mean being everything to different people here, as we can see this kind of a company happening. And then also, just like Aquarians, my dear Aries, you're like, I'm out of here. I like it. I appreciate you. I care for you, but I have enough. So the 8 of Cups is always one of those cards where you can come back, right? You go to this 9 of Cups, which is like celebration. You're celebrating something on your own. And you can continue and upgrade it to celebrating with a family. But you can also go back and say, you know what, actually, I had everything I needed. This is usually a card that comes through when you are like dating somebody, or somebody's dating you, and they say, you know what, I'm not so sure. And you've seen it in this show Bachelor many times. I'm not so sure, you know, that I'm making the right choice. I'm better off not to make a choice. I'm better off explore. So sure, they can leave. Will you wait for them, or will somebody wait for you? It's a different story. But if it does, and now they know for sure that this is it, well, that's a completely different situation, right? So that's, I would say, my dear Aries, that, you know, whatever it is that you're putting in progress or in process is going to be also eventually something that you're going to tire off really quickly and decide to go in a different direction. So let's go. Moving on. The next one is Capricorn. Where is our Chris, the Capricorn? We have Andy here. Capricorn. Let me put a stamp. Capricorn. It will be so nice to invite you, Andy, to come here during the reading on Saturday. So she can chit chat and like you can actually hear other people's voices. This is why I wanted that other software, because I can invite people, I think 4 or 5. I'll have to check into it. I'll see if I can try it for free. I think there is a free version, except it only allows 1 hour and no more. So if I can keep it under 1 hour, which I never can, it will be okay. So who did I pick out? Capricorn. Again, look at it, repetition. This is you, Capricorn. So whenever I see that in your reading, this devil card doesn't really concern me that much, because I'm saying they're just telling them to be true to themselves, right? Because we see this 8 and 4. 8 and 4 adds to 12, which is the Hanged Man or the Empress, and we have this femininity. We have this look at, it's actually really lovely reading when I really think about it. So maybe you have moved on from something. Maybe you are already in that exploration stage or just about to start it. And then you're going to feel that you made a fabulous decision. So there is a lots of full moon, like I forgot to say this in previous reading for Aquarius and Aries. There's a little bit of full moon thing here that is going to be kind of like that affectation. But what is really going to happen over here is that there is like kind of like the milestone, accomplished milestone, celebrating yourself. Elon Musk sent this starship into place that exploded 30 seconds later, but it's a big success. And so, okay, that's kind of like gives this negative image, but apparently it was a huge milestone to understand how to lift something up, and it was the only thing they wanted to accomplish. And for the rest of us, like, dude, it exploded. I would not like to be aboard of that ship, kind of a thing. But apparently they're like moving, like, I mean, in stages, in these little installments. And that's a little stage, you know, like you're celebrating your first anniversary, you're celebrating like 3 months at work, you're celebrating something like that, right? So this is really interesting to kind of like observe. The Devil card here tells me that you're kind of dead set on something that you're doing and how you're doing it, and that you really want to go in that direction. And I don't see freezing for a while now. That's good. So this is really telling me that even though you are going to feel really good and celebratory, there is a little bit of being stuck. And I really have to tell you about that, right? So stuck, we see it here. We see this through this hangman. So when it comes to that stage, quote unquote, that hangman, it really tells us to kind of like, I don't know if obey would be the best word to say, but kind of like do as Romans do, right? If you're in an environment which is not necessarily quote unquote your native environment, and hence maybe that's why a little bit of the devil world came up. You got a surprise. Unfortunately, it's reversed because I love this card, because this dude is fishing and he found money. So it's reverse, but since this is such a positive card, it's not overly negative card when reversed. It just means that there are like certain hopes. So there's this hope for something, and I think it's connecting to this. Maybe this is your hope to have the celebration, because Capricorns are horn dogs, right? And this could mean like, oh, just really want to jump your bones over here, kind of a thing, right? This doesn't mean the outcome of the situation is negative, though, just that luck is not on your side. We are in a Mercury retrograde, and can simply kind of like indicate that certain things is coming with delay, and you know, like news arrive late, and that kind of like certain things are still very uncertain. But you know what, if you are into sex right now, if that's what is needed, it's going to be a plenty full of that. Nothing wrong with that, guys. You know, like, I mean, I know some people take this dating like a menu. Am I going to have the steak for life? Okay, I'll have the steak for life, but you're not a steak. You're just, you know, vegetarian dish. No, I cannot possibly. Hey, mister, you're a pickle. What the hell you want? Kind of like people take it too seriously. Dating should be something enjoyable. It should be helping us kind of like get in touch with who you are. So do not deny people. And that means if you enjoy sex, if that's what you want, just eat when you're hungry, kind of a thing, right? So let's see. We should go for a nice walk and not maybe even wait for the summer. I'm training Tiger to be a little bit less reactive, and I didn't do it in 2 days, which I'll do it as soon as I finish this. The next one is Sagittarius. Kylie, that was like a little bit off. Sagittarius. And you know what the quiz is going to be? The quiz is going to be about anything Canadiana. And it's not going to be making you Google. It doesn't matter. I prefer that you have more fun here with all wrong answers than anything else. So it's simply going to be the person who gives the most wrong answers. How's that? Like a little bit contrary to what generally quizzes are. it just sucks. I found some interactive choices that we cannot do it because of this huge freaking delay. Bless you, Safi. What was that? That was a big sneeze. So Sagis, let's see. We have the Ace of Pentacles. And I think that's because of this Mercury retrograde. You want to start something and something is not starting. So I would say possible issues with your transportation, with your vehicle. The Ace of Pentacles reversed means the seed didn't come through, that you had big hopes. Look at how interesting this is. Like, and then you're having these bookends over here and then this Chariot in the middle. So this Chariot keeps showing up all the time. So it almost looks like it's some kind of like a flavor, if you really think about it, of the month. And that, I would say, in the Eight of Cups seem to be very prevalent in, at least I'm getting that feeling for it, right? It's about that will, it's about control and victory and assertion. It's each and every time so far came upright. And I think this is what happens with Pluto moving into Aquarius. It's no more fluffy ideas, because the rest of your signs look at us Aquarians, yeah, it was very nice and sit down now kind of a thing, right? But now it is, oh sure, that can happen. Did you hear about this guy who used his blood test and put it in ChatGPT, in artificial intelligence, and it helped him redefine exactly the treatment he should be getting? And apparently, the doctor told him that the outcome probably is going to be pretty bad. And with ChatGPT requests to do it that way, he recovered fully in a short period of time. And so this is kind of like when impossible becomes possible over here, right? So you have to understand, this is like talking about people who are focused, who are determined, who are persistent, and who are very goal kind of like oriented. It's very kind of like headstrong going on over here. It's really a force to be reckoned with if you really think about it, right? Sometimes this turns into aggressive behavior. I didn't see in any of the readings today because you are here. Maybe you feel a little bit surprised though. I don't know. For some reason I'm reading this is you, my dear Sagittarius, and you're seeing the other people slow and not pulling their weight around you, right? Because you really want to be in control, but there's like the Ace of Pentacles. Somebody's not starting. Maybe you're depending on somebody to start a car and to get you somewhere in order to certain things to happen. However, you have this Knight of Pentacles here, and this Knight of Pentacles is, to me, a lovely card. They're always connected with friendships, and they always, usually they have the black horse, right? But here is like the white goat and the black cat, right? To show us the contrast, how we can make it go and do with people who seemingly are nothing like us, kind of a thing, right? There you go. We have another tuxedo cat, but this is like called falsity, right? Or falseness, right? And it's so bad on them to kind of like label the kitty cats like that, right? But it is reversed, which means it's the end of the period of falsehood. This also can talk about selecting who is tried and true in your life and who is just, basically wasting your time if you really think about it, right? Kind of like if there were some behaviors, like somebody was talking behind your back, or could be a slander or something based on jealousy or envy, it's just going to stop. You may be moving ahead out of it, not even addressing it, just giving them a look and moving on, which is almost like a bigger punishment than any kind of like choice of words. But also it could feel a little bit that some kind of truth is coming out, or you like the truth will set you free, kind of like is coming through, right? There are like really no negative cards other than this false beginning. Maybe the only advice I would have, and this is strongly indicating May, especially plus minus 5 days from the 7th of May. So it's from the 2nd to the 12th, very strongly coming through, right? I would really say here that kind of like You need to check the people who are around you and for the true motives, and that is going to kind of like be a guide for you to move forward. So rely on the true friends only, and those true friends might be a little bit boring, but nonetheless they will be there for you. So keep that in mind, right? And Godspeed kind of like thing with you, because you'll be mover and shaker, and then you're going to feel comfort in the company of the people that you like, right? So, and cute. Okay, so let's see who is next. Who is next is Cancer. So Cancer, we were kind of like taking your chariot out all this time. So let's see what we get here. Oh boy, that's not going to transfer properly. But we'll give it a shot. Cancer. This one wanted to come out. There's the Sun reversed. This one wanted to come out. Oh, that's Temperance. Look at this fire. And there it is, the Eight of Cups. I'm telling you. There's like certain repetition and patterns, like it's going to be a group of people doing that. I have no time for this, I'm leaving. Another group will be, I'm stepping on a gas in this particular case. So this is really interesting, Cancer. You're water signs. So like you're getting all this fire coming through, right? Fire and water, and he's throwing this fish back. It's so weird. I watched this movie, Emily. I don't know if you watch it. It's a French movie, and I'm trying to practice my French, but they speak so non-stop in jargon that was really, really hard. But anyway, in the beginning of the movie, she has this goldfish that tries to commit suicide so many times, and they're looking for it and realizing that the only solution is to release it in the wild, and that's basically what happens in the movie. And for some reason it kind of like came back, and the whole movie probably makes sense in this reading, because it's all about seeking somebody who had secrets and wanting to kind of like connect them with what once was, kind of a thing, right? And just trying to see yourself as God or angel, kind of a thing. So the Sun reversed sometimes, and most of the time I would say it's even better than the Sun upright, because just this whole glaring sun is something that we adore. So it would be that celebrity status and stuff, but you also burn in the sun. It's also hard to tolerate. To me, this is always like a sunrise or sunset, where it's a joy for the new day arriving, or sunset is that romanticism happening. And look at what we have. We have the sun. Remember what I was saying about these final parts of the tarot, the crown? So the sun is one of them. Temperance isn't. Temperance is more or less talking about the balance, that like the fish shouldn't be in the water, right? And I have stuff like that. Oh, narcissus. Like, I mean, I had them in the garage, my narcissus, and they're kind of coming out. Probably I should plant them in the soil. It's just like I'm so lazy doing my gardening this year. But Temperance is about acquiring balance over here, and that usually happens if you have been out, or you haven't been patient, or you had people in your life coming through who you were like, you know what, I really don't want to deal with that, and I don't want to deal with you. It's kind of like something that maybe hasn't been in moderation. Maybe you have been partying for quite a while, and now it's time for yoga, if you wish, and things that really need to happen, right? And it's really important to kind of like look in kind of like that direction, right? So then we have what else to say about this Eight of Cups, right? Because it keeps repeating here as a pattern. And it can mean many things, as I said, looking for something that you want, you think you deserve, right? Because clearly all these cups are not broken. You're not leaving because it was devastation. You're leaving because or abandoning certain things up. So who are you? Are you the one leaving, or are you the one being abandoned, kind of a thing, right? So it is like a card of that change and transition, and it kind of like does give this kind of like sense of maybe sadness if you really think about it, especially in the traditional Rider-Waite. But here I think like the kitty is disappearing in the night, and it's the moonlight, which kind of gives a lots of kind of like space, and kind of like there are like no appearances so much like in the moon card, but there is like the sense of that restlessness kind of like that is really happening, right? So keep in mind that this could be actual journey, like especially when we see this kind of like rainbow, could be also that spiritual journey that he or she hasn't found that deep satisfaction in the things of the world, right? And so basically, you need to ask yourself, dear Cancer, what brings you that deepest satisfaction, right? And what is kind of like, why are you walking from everything that you have built so far? What is making you happen, and what is it you're in a what kind of search you really need to accomplish over here? And then you're getting a hope, and hope came reversed. And hope is the star. So now we have the sun and star from the crowd, right? That is really happening. So there is like this woman also that has this little feeling of she's blindfolded, she's on the top of the world, she has the sun over here. But then why is she thinking blindfolded? Is she not supposed to see where she is, or what? And this is also anticipation. It's very close to that 8 of Cups over here, but clearly there's like some troubling signs if you really think about it over here. So it's talking about, especially in the reversal position, about disruption plans for the future. Maybe your hopes are misplaced. Maybe you were hoping for justice and for sticking around. Somebody maybe was telling you that you need to be patient. Maybe you're waiting for a promotion and you have been patient and working and contributing, and then somebody else gets it. Kind of like a right situation. It could be a little bit pessimistic, maybe feeling that fulfillment is not there. Clearly, these are very two positive cards. So if this is not fulfilling you, it is just not your thing, right? So that means that square peg in the round hole, things can be perfect, but they are not for you. And maybe, like, you meet a person who is always going out, always doing stuff. It was fun for the first 2 weeks, and it's like, you know what? I just want to kick back and watch television at home. No, do that. And then you just realize it's just not for me. I love you. I love who you are. It just doesn't work. So keep this in mind. You have to be true to yourself. You too, Andy. Enjoy. Oh no, you're not leaving. So Kylie is leaving. So talk to you soon, madam. So you have the sun. Hey, Kylie, before you go, let me grab a card for you, if she's not gone already. Kylie, the card you're getting is Prince of Wands, the journalist. You need to document something. You need to make sure your facts are there. And you kind of like really need to go, I have to use this card more often. I just love it. And I don't even know if this girl still makes them. So let's go next. We only have, I think, 2 left, Virgo and Pisces. Pisces. Where's the stamp? Let's put a stamp. And let's see. So we have, 5 of Cups reversed. But you know what? That's a typical Piscean situation, right? And there we go. So you have 5, 11, 14. It talks about moving slow. So it looks from going very slow to very fast to, okay, let's see what happens. So somebody's pushing you in a situation of action, something that, let me just grab this one, since they're like all small. I would call them Mickey Mouse cards. Oof, the death. This one is not small anymore. So there's like sadness. There's a relationship you want to leave behind. Mercury retrograde affects you also very much because these emotional triggers and feelings are coming through to the surface, and it's not easy for you to handle it, right? So this card always warns about neglecting those who already are in your life, right? So it will be a person who has friends, but she gets a boyfriend, and friends are no longer important, and the friends are feeling they're at loss, kind of a thing. So this can talk about it, that maybe other people are moving on, but you are like stuck in a situation for a reason that you are not really seeing things as they are. And this is possibly calling for death, that you stop certain kind of like engagement like that. It can also be interpreted that actually you are done with suffering and thinking about something, and now you're moving forward, like kind of like you finally reach that closure. There's that finality, and maybe you are kind of like now happy that you're out there, that you're doing different things. So I think it's much more positive, kind of like looking at it and going in that direction. So that happens. So it's 11:11 for Barbie because she's 2 hours behind me. And we have Virgo coming last. Virgo, let's put a stamp. Virgo. Let's see. I think Carly was already gone. Virgo, you have the High Priestess. So there is like some kind of like wisdom and zen and being silent. Ooh, 2 major arcanas already. And ooh, you got lots of cards. You're saying, I'm lost. I'm going to get all of that stuff that I need to get. So Virgo, you have the High Priestess. You have Temperance. You have Knight of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, King of Swords, and 10 of Cups. So other than Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles over here, this is exceptionally good reading. So these 2 are always also telling me that you're possibly putting too many things on your plate. And there are also lots of different directions and almost diversions. So we have like the emotional here, right? Emotional, right? Then we have fast moving and insightful and decisive over here. And then we have, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do first. So I do see, Virgo, that is going to be a little bit confusion. But then again, we are going through Mercury retrograde. You're ruled by Mercury, and that can explain that you're trying to catch up with so many things, because usually the past things come to the fore when we are in Mercury retrograde, and we go, oh my gosh, I still didn't do it. I have to do it. I have to do it. And then you're getting, because you are kind of like the sign of organizing and the sign of kind of like knowing that everything has to be in the bracket of the stuff. And now it's like, how did that slip by me? How am I so behind? So you're really putting, like, I mean, pedal to the metal, if you wish. There's dedication of the family. It could be some legal process, or it could be some kind of finalization of some sort, something that you have been waiting for a while. What you're going through is very important, because these are one of the things that you wrote in your chart to come here, and it's kind of like really important to know it. So we have here Scholar reversed. You're feeling like maybe like you're taking courses and you were kind of trying to obtain something. Like usually the King of Swords is something legal or something in that sort, but then you get the Scholar reversed. So basically, almost like you're fed up, like almost like it feels like there's never the end of some kind of like education of a sort, right? So it's either that you just want to stop and now move on, experience life, and feel the warmth and connection with the others, family in particular, right? But it can also mean there's like a lack of consideration of some sort, that there's like somebody who is rude or arrogant, right? But it can also talk about that you feel that you're ready for something, right? But somebody else doesn't. And that's kind of like where the conflict comes, that you have been patient, you want to move forward, and then somebody tells you, no, I don't think so, right? And this is kind of like creating all of these problems. So there's like some possible conflict, which can be done through with some educated person or somebody who is, let's say, attorney, even with some other artist, and kind of like things can arise from there. So that's our May over here. Let's put the cards away, and we are going to do the doors now. I'm surprised that Barbie didn't crack the whip. And just to let you know that Barbie, and I don't know why they don't designate the special moderators differently, but Barbie is the only one that actually has a little bit more abilities on her moderating panel. But all of you who are here and following are also mods, and I think this is why we have peace here, people not asking for hairy things. So let's go. Barbie, you're going first to give you your card, and you are getting here Princess of Swords, the Page of Swords reversed, the activist. I think you're going to blur out something at somebody. You're just you have no patience with somebody anymore. Kind of like you have enough. And so, by the way, these are like the New York deck dedicated to the Twin Towers. So that's really interesting. I'm pretty sure the Tower card would be the Twin Towers because how it collapsed, right? So that's Libra. Did I do Libra? Is at 37. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3720 if you kind of want to go down there. So Barbie, I would just say, you know what? Libra, like we have to let the steam out from time to time. Just be prepared for it. Kylie got hers. Andy, I think this is it. Unless if somebody else is there, let me know. You're actually getting 2. Ooh, you're getting power. I don't know why I'm thinking NB power that came through, I guess, the logo and stuff. But you also have the Knight of Swords, the Game Master. You might be meeting somebody who is an air sign. So this could be you, kind of like strong, structured, kind of like energy coming through with somebody who is saying, you know what, like, let's be wind. So you're like, I am a freaking big boulder, big stone. You want me to be wind? That's really not easy kind of a thing, right? So that's kind of like what happens over here. So I would just say go with the flow, but it's not going to be a match of energy unless you are able to transfer. This is not easy energy transfer, that's for sure. And also this person might be playing games, and that's not fun. So if somebody is still here that didn't get their card, let me know. But let's do the doors. Let's do the doors. So this is the door number 1 that jumped. Barbie, you had the Page of Swords reversed. Page of Swords meant that you will just let it all out on somebody. Oops, no, I have to take a different one here. Wasn't this nice? The burlesque dancers, the fire dancer. But I'm taking a different one. So door number 2 and the door number 3. Door number 3. So if you guys, because I'm about 5 minutes now, I had a few. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm hearing like people are commenting on doors. I'm not that much behind you anymore. It was just a bad connection today. So the door number 1 is Dominion. I would just say that kind of like the energies can go in all directions. This is one of those cards that you don't get clear yes or no. You get clear maybe, and the maybe is saying that actually both of them can be no and both of them can be yes. So it's kind of like a very tricky card. So that's the 2 of Wands card, where we are kind of like we are in the wondering stage. So it's not action stage, so hence I cannot give you the result on this one. So it's just saying the time is not yet there for result to be known. And I'm seeing this thing circulating again. And then we have Valor for who picked door number 2, right? And this kind of like means a struggle. You're struggling to maintain your own position. I'll have to refresh it because I know. So it's going to cut out for a moment. But okay, hopefully it's going to come back with this. So with Valor, it says that you will really need to fight for it if you want it. It's going to feel like you're losing it. It's going to feel like it's not being given to you. But if you fight for it, most likely you will get it, because that's the card still of winning. But it's going to also let you see somebody else in a different way. And then we have Gain. We have 9 of Pentacles, and door number 3 is definite success. It's a little bit of a solitary card though. Like with 9 of Pentacles, this woman is like, you know what? I am so better off, which could end the sentence without you, or, then somebody else. You can end the sentence the way you want. But this is kind of a decision kind of like redeclaring your own position, redeclaring where you are in your life and how to go about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed it in spite of this crazy thing that happened here. Let me see if I can find the Tower card. Like, this is a really lovely deck, but the woman who did it was not that lovely, and I just couldn't discontinue ordering from her. But I really have to say that I really enjoy how she used the theme of modern and relevant happening. It's not easy to make tarot cards. Like, you need to do lots of painting and hand painting, and so you have to have this talent. So in addition to this talent, you also have to have lots of money to actually paint on all these canvases and then a print and do it. So I understand these people are a little bit prickly, but that's the life of an artist. I'm just trying to see if this card is going to be, look at the High Priestess is like sitting in her water. It's actually really good symbolism. That's what I like, that she really did know her stuff. Usually people paint the cards because artists get it at university to kind of like do it. It's one of the popular works. It is. The Towers here. Isn't this like so freaky? So yeah, it's too bad the personality doesn't match, right? So guys, I love you. I apologize for this not being a smooth sailing today, but this is like Mercury retrograde. I think it's still going to be there for the next time that we see each other, but it is what it is. Que sera, sera, right? And I'm going to see you the next time. I did get a request from Crystal, and we are going to see. So I love you. I wish you all the best. And until the next time, guys, I do know that you're going to be okay. If you need to come back and check your things. All the best. Love you.